Hi everyone, this is Koinzell here, and this is my post Nahida release update. But it's actually going to focus mostly on C1 because that's the main thing. That's the biggest difference I see from my math guides per C1 because it's much better than I thought. I'll talk more about that later, and I'll share the updated figures constellation comparison as well for both the AggraSpread and Nahida Nilou. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to really play the game much. I like yesterday I had no chance to play the game other than just clearing my dailies. I did not even do my resin review. So yeah, unfortunately these 2 weeks is still going to be very busy for me. But I'll try my best to do up the Wanderer series as well, as much as I can, yeah. Alright. So anyway, let's dive right in for her C1. So C1 is much better than I thought. Pre-release, I tend to take conservative assumptions, which is why my math is based on the assumption that her C1 only does a +1 when you already have the corresponding elemental type character in party. So instead of always having +1 to Pyro, Electro, Hydro. Post-release via testing, it's actually confirmed that it works as always +1 Pyro, Electro, Hydro. So the implication of this is actually very nice. So first off, in the AggraSpread com where there's no Pyro or Hydro, we now get the Pyro damage bonus for Trikarma and the Hydro duration extension for Q. Secondly, in Nahida Nilou com where there is no Pyro or Electro, we now get the Pyro damage bonus for Trikarma and the increased frequency of Trikarma as well, which means more instances of Dendro application, i.e. more bodyful core for Dendro hit trigger and greater ease in ensuring Hydro trigger, if that's your cup of tea, if that's the maximum potential you go for. So on and so forth for other comps as well, like Virgin, you will have Pyro and Hydro, yeah. So you get the 2 character level of bonus, but you may not necessarily have Electro, for example. So yeah, that's just one case of it. C1 also makes the Q talent levels a lot more relevant, i.e. it's no longer just a 250 EM on field buff in certain comps, and it makes her Q talent level skilling better, which means that it improves her C5 value as well. So for the rest of this video, I'll do a quick update on my previous figures and TC. So first off, let's look at rotation. Rotation is very straightforward. For C1 Plus, because her Q now has the Hydro duration bonus, right? So we can basically use her Q at the start, right after the first E. What this does is that basically the whole Q buff lasts throughout the entire rotation, as opposed to previously where the Q had to be here, so as to ensure that most of her action windows gets the Q buff. So this is a nice improvement for AggraSpread. Now next is the updated damage figures. As you can see here, C1 does have a difference now versus C0. Okay, and these are the DPS figures. Obviously from C1 plus all the figures have improved. Like previously the C6 was 71k, C1 was 39k just like C0. So you see everything gradually increased. And this also means that there's more value in getting C2, right? And I'll detail it more here as we talk about the constellation comparison. So constellation comparison over here, okay, in all this, I forgot to update this in all this, but this is basically talking about the artifact permissions. It's the exact same as this. You know what, let me just copy it over. Okay, so effectively, the C1 instead of 0% is actually an 8% increase. 8%. And C5 actually gets a slight improvement. Okay, and in terms of overall, it's also improved. So let me show you guys this portion here. This is a more summarized view, right? So previously, these were the figures that I had before my C1 assumption was proven to be wrong. It's okay. It's a good mistake because her performance gets better. That's why I always take the conservative assumption. So C1 is 8%, C5 is 10% versus the 8% previously. Okay, some slight improvement here and there. Likewise for her C6, because Trikarma, Pyro damage bonus for Trikarma should also affect her C6 effect, since the passive already does. So with that, right, the cumulative actually improves from 81 to 100% as well. So C1, obviously 8% is not great, right? But it's decent, it's better than before. And more importantly, C0 to C2 is now 27% instead of 18%. We're talking about these two figures here. So this makes it really good to go for constellations rather than R1 signature if you're already willing to spend to begin with. Okay. Again, value of R1 signature really depends on how many sources of EM buffs you can get in the comp. The lesser the buffs, the better R1 gets. So do bear that in mind. Now, C0, C6 is also much better now, since it's 100% versus 81%. Which I would say is good enough to say that it's good, but it's not OP per se. You need 120+% for me to say that. I need 120+% for me to say that it's like OP. But 100% is good. For sure it's good. But do bear in mind, this is also with spreads, which is the best use case of a C6. Hyper Bloom, you probably have this similar level of performance, but when it comes to Nahida Nilou, not so much. Okay. So in terms of the updated number of elemental application instances or units for Dendro in Nahida Nilou, yep. So this is 2D2H as per my previous math guide, but I'll talk about 1D3H here. So you see here that it has increased in terms of the number of units. Instead of 12 units, it's 13.5 or 15, depending on whether you have C5. Yeah, I know not everyone has C5s. That's why I have broken down it into the different levels. Okay. So sorry, the way I put this is a little wrong. Let me change this. So it's 15 at C0, 16.5 at C1. Okay, let me just put that in as well. 18 at C5 or 22 if C6. Okay, so you see her constellations do gradually improve the amount of elemental application instances that she's doing. You can see it very clearly here. Okay, but essentially, the easier way to see it is that C1 effect gives you one more trikarma, while C5 gives you another trikarma. That's why it's 1.5 and 3U at C5. So that's for 2D2H. Now for 1D3H Dendro trigger, I can tell you it's about 1 bountiful core to 23 because although it's 1.5U, because of how much the Dendro, Dendro reacts, right? It's like forward vape, right? It's a chance for you to completely be consumed the 1.5U. If you have 1.5U hydro on your enemy, applying a 1.5U from Trikarma actually completely consumes everything. Okay. Now for 2D2H hydro triggers, it's +1, 2 to approximately 28, so it's 23 for 1D3H Dendro trigger, 28 for 2D2H because it was only one away from max potential. For 1D3H, I think it's much easier. It will be much easier to maintain the hydro triggers because you're getting a lot more hydro Dendro application. 1.5U is like 3 more. You can afford 3 more bountiful calls if it's hydro trigger. But I still need to test it out to be sure. Like I said, I haven't had the chance to really play test Nahida since her release. Too busy IRL. So I'll probably do it on stream. All the play testing, I'll probably do it on stream. And I really had a good time playing her on the release day on 2 days ago. Because she's so imba. I remember my Nahida Nilou 2D2H comp just wiping floor 12-3 first chamber in like seconds. I was so shocked by it. But yeah, I'll do more playtests on streams, okay? And I also have to catch up on my story quest, otherwise I won't be able to do the Scaramouche boss, which is what I'll try to do this weekend. Okay, so these are all the points that I have for you guys. As I said, it's a very quick update. The video is less than 10 minutes. And no TLDR because the points above are all pretty straightforward, right? You have the specific chapter for Nahida Nilou, you have Constellation, updated damage figures, rotation, and why C1 is better than I thought. Okay, so I hope the video is helpful to you guys. I'll probably move on to Wanderer series next. In terms of the next YouTube video I will publish. Maybe I will publish a couple of Nahida gameplay videos before that, but I'm not hopeful of being able to do that due to the time constraint that I have. Okay, so if you have joined my stream on Wednesday, you know the reason why I've been busy for the past 2 weeks, and it's gonna be the same for the next 2 weeks. But rather than not doing any videos, I will try my best to do up the Wanderer series. Okay. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys next video. If you like the content of the video, and click subscribe for more. Bye.